Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So first of all, I just wanted to say very quickly that for a while I will only be uploading every 2 weeks rather than every week, because hopefully I'll be able to explain a bit better, but like I'm struggling a bit at the moment, as I'm sure many people are. So I'm only going to be uploading every 2 weeks just so I can have a bit more time to focus on university and sorting myself out and things like that. So that is just very quickly something I wanted to say for kind of more updates and more, you know, up to the minute details. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, which are both just Cicely Amelia. So yeah, I just wanted to say that really quickly. And today I wanted to talk about the current situation with James Charles. I know this is quite serious and I completely understand if this is not something that you want to listen to at the moment, because it is very heavy and it is very personal to a lot of people. So if this is not a conversation that will help you at the moment and it will harm you, then please click out the video. Also, if it is something that is going to affect you in a very negative way, just don't look at it. Mute the words James Charles on your Twitter, because the most important thing is keeping yourself safe. In case you don't know, James Charles is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, beauty influencer on the platform, on YouTube and on Instagram. He's 21 years old, I believe, maybe 22, so around my age. He got his start very young. He got very popular 4 or 5 years ago, so when he was, you know, 16, 17, 18 years old. Recently, in the past couple of months, he has been accused by a number of underage boys, they are children, I'm not going to be calling them men because they are children, of requesting explicit images, sending explicit messages, and generally trying to do sexual things over text with these boys. James himself has actually admitted to doing this, but he has said that he didn't know the ages of these boys. I think now there have been 6 or 7 boys who have come forward, and if I can, I will put photos of their social media profiles which clearly state their age. This is very important because James made a video very recently where he did admit to messaging these boys, not knowing that they were children, and then finding out because he found out that they lied to him. And he's making this very big deal of saying, I'm going to be checking IDs. I'm going to be asking people to send me photos of their IDs. This is ridiculous. Yes, to some extent, if you believe that a person that you are talking to or want to engage in sexual acts with is a child, and they've been saying, I'm 23, and you think they look 16, then yes, maybe ask for ID. But in this case, all of these boys were fans of James Charles. Every single one was a fan of his who followed him. And then James followed them back on social media. I think it was mostly Instagram and TikTok. And he added them on Snapchat, and James's excuse for this was, well, they messaged me first. The boys messaged me first. Yes, exactly. If someone I was a massive fan of and, you know, maybe had a little crush on when I was 14, 15, 16, or even now, if one of them followed me on Instagram or Twitter, yes, I would message them. Of course I would, because I'm a fan of that person. You know, when I would say 15, 16, I was a massive fan of 5 Seconds of Summer. I still like their music now, I'm just a bit less of a fangirl. But if one of them, you know, had followed me on Twitter or Instagram, the first thing I would do is message them and be like, hey, hi. And you know, realistically, if they asked me to, you know, send explicit messages or explicit pictures of myself, I absolutely would do that, because I would do anything to make that person happy because I'm such a big fan of them. And this is a really key thing about power imbalances in social media, because as an influencer, people have to be so careful, and it's not necessarily to do with age, it's to do with the power imbalance that people have with their fans. If someone is a fan of yours, you have so much power over that person, and you might not even be aware of it, but you do. And this is why this is so important to talk about, because there are so many influencers nowadays who are single and have a very young fan base. We've seen it before with like Onision and people like that, and Chris Ingham. We've seen it before and it's happening again, and people seem to be much more forgiving of it because, well, in my opinion, it's because he is a man doing this to boys, and he is very much taking the approach of, well, they lied to me, I'm the victim here because they lied to me, and that is not accurate at all. What happened was a man who had a massive power imbalance over the children that he was messaging did not take 3 seconds to look at their social media profiles and see that their ages were in their bios. He did not take 3 seconds to click on someone's profile and go, oh, they're 15, maybe I shouldn't message them. And with one of the boys, he messaged him on his 15th birthday on Snapchat and said happy birthday on his 15th birthday, which obviously meant he was messaging him at 14 years old. And some of these messages that he was sending are very, very aggressive and very alarming, which it makes me feel a bit sick actually, because he already had so much power over these boys, and then he chose to use that power to be aggressive and get what he wanted. In his video that he made, James Charles's video, he said he was desperate and he didn't want to be single anymore, and he found these boys and, you know, they liked him and he liked them, and he didn't think to look at their ages on their social media profiles, which he had obviously looked at to follow. But he's not attracted to younger people. He's not. He's attracted to older people. To which I say, James, in the past you've literally admitted to being attracted or dating people in high school and in college who are younger than you. I think it was on the Impulsive podcast.
Not even starting, it's really looking, period. Like, I'm actively searching for younger people to be in a relationship with, and I just want to say firsthand that that is absolutely not the case. My hope has always been to be in a relationship with somebody around my age or older that I can relate to and that can make me laugh. And unfortunately, I've not been able to find that person yet. So the thing is, for me, I'm 21, but like I said, I have the mentality of a 40-year-old. Yeah. So for me, like, I'm much more mentally and emotionally mature than a lot of people my age. I'm not physically attracted to older guys, which sucks. Like, I would date like the absolute youngest, like 18, 19, that looks a little bit.
He literally said, I have the mind of a 40-year-old. If I have an old soul and I wanted to find someone who's on my level, I go for someone my age or older. I wouldn't then go, yeah, but like, the boys in high school, they're so cute. Like, no. I'm 22 now, and it kind of grosses me out to think of even like dating someone who's 18, 19. Because I remember how I was when I was 18 and when I was 19, and my friends who were 18 and who are now obviously my age, we were not even on the same level that we are now. Because at least in my experience, obviously I can only talk from my experience, you are still very much in a kind of high school mindset because you've gone from high school to college, and the difference between high school and college isn't that much, except you have a lot more freedom. And I don't know how it is in America. I think it's you stay in high school until you're 18, which even more so, you are still in high school. Like, you literally are still in high school. It's quite disgusting to me that he has literally admitted to talking to high school boys, I think within the past year. And on the Impulsive podcast, he literally says, I talk to guys in high school and in college. Oh, seniors in high school. That feels so disgusting to me. Why would you want to talk to someone who is in high school if you are, you know, a successful influencer living in LA? Like, I'm not being funny. There are special dating sites for people who are famous, who are very wealthy, who are not, you know, like me and you, and people who have a very different view of the world and who live very different lives. Because I go to university and I have to go, do I want, you know, Warburton's bread or Tesco's own brand? Because by the end of the month, I've got no money left. So do I spend 40p on a loaf of bread or 85p to save that 45p? For me to then potentially date someone who is a very, very successful influencer, who has a lot of money. Like, he has 25.6 million subscribers. 25,600,000 people are subscribed to him. And his last video, apart from his holding myself accountable video, which, by the way, 14 minutes and 17 seconds. No. His last 5 videos, he's got 4.8 million views, 3.9 million views, 5.5 million views, 2.9 million views, and 2 million views. So let's just say he doesn't have any mid-roll ads. And which, unlikely. But let's pretend for a second that he doesn't have any mid-rolls and he's just got ads at the start of his videos. He will be making millions. And that's not including his merch, his makeup line, his brand deals, his Instagram sponsorships. It's not including any of that. That is just from ad revenue, and that is a scary amount of money for anyone to have, let alone a 21, 22-year-old. One of the boys who he has been accused of talking has also accused him of trying to buy pictures, explicit pictures of him, and sending him money to send him explicit pictures, which makes me feel a bit sick. There are explicit images and videos for anyone's interests on the internet somewhere, for free or to pay for. You don't then need to ask your fans to send you those pictures for money. Realistically, you shouldn't have to ask someone to send you pictures for money anyway. If you are interested in them and they are interested in you, you should just be able to say, oh, shall we have a little chat tonight? And that should be that. And if that person doesn't want to, you shouldn't then say, I will pay you to do this for me. Especially when you are already in such a massive place of power with that person. You know, James Charles is never going to watch this. Realistically, James Charles's team are never going to watch this. But on the off chance that someone who knows him stumbles across this video, I just want to say, you have admitted, James Charles, you have admitted to procuring sexually explicit images of children. Whether or not you knew that they were children at the time, that is what you have admitted to doing. And your video was called Holding Myself Accountable. Holding yourself accountable would be taking yourself down to a police station and saying what you've done. Because what you've done is illegal. You don't seem to have learned from anything that's happened in the past couple of years. You don't seem to have learned that your behaviour is wrong and can really, really hurt people. I just want to say, I hope that there is a police investigation into this. I hope that those children that you have hurt are able to get help and not be vilified by your fans who don't seem to be aware that what you've done is damaging and hurtful and cruel to those people that you have hurt. And my hope is that you stop. My hope is that this never has to happen ever again, because at this point that's the only thing that can redeem you in any way in my eyes. At the end of the day, you have committed a felony. You have, in the state of California, in the United States of America, and in the world, you have committed a felony. When sexting involves minors, it violates both state and federal laws. The government can prosecute anyone for the production, distribution, reception and possession of. It follows that sexting and possessing a sext of a minor is illegal. You know, realistically, you might go to prison, you'll probably get community service and have to pay a fine because of who you are. But the right thing to do is to go to the police and hand yourself in. Otherwise, you are not holding yourself accountable in any way, shape or form. You're just saying, yeah, but it wasn't my fault. They didn't tell me how old they were. They lied. No. There are laws to protect children because children are vulnerable people, especially in this situation. So my hope is that you do actually hold yourself accountable and you do actually take some action. Go to therapy, because those children look like children. And it's not once, it's not twice, it's not even 3 times. It's at least 6 times now. So my hope for you is that you get help. My hope for the victims is that they get help and they can stay as far away from you as possible and this never has to happen again. That's my message to James Charles. or someone who knows him or his team. Sorry for getting a bit angry in this video. This situation does make me very, very angry, because I know that, like I said, if someone that I was a fan of when I was 14, 15, 16 had messaged me, this could have happened to me. And what it is child abuse. It is. To all influencers, people with a big following, don't be stupid. There are people out there for you that aren't your fans. Don't use your power for a negative result. And before I get really upset, because this does really upset me, I am going to leave it there. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to be making one video every 2 weeks from now on for a while, not forever, hopefully, just so I can sort myself out. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, which is just Cicely Amelia, if you like to. Don't have to. Also, feel free to leave a comment, like, or subscribe. I would really appreciate it, but no pressure to do so, because it is your life and you get to live it the way you want to. And yeah, hopefully the next one will be a bit more cheery, I guess. A bit of a less serious subject. Do all the fun YouTube things, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.